When you think of endurance racing in IMSA, you immediately think of the WeatherTech Championship. But there's another championship consisting of GT4 and TCR spec cars that feature races from 2 to 4 hours in length. That series is the Michelin Pilot Challenge, and today you're going to learn all about it. One of IMSA's longest standing series, the Michelin Pilot Challenge, has had a long history to get where it is today. It all dates back to the Canadian Motorola Cup, which featured Grand Sport, Touring, and Compact classes, and made stops at many iconic North American racetracks. In 2001, the series was taken over by Grand Am and would become the Grand Am Cup. Ever since then, it's been one of the top support series for Grand Am, and then eventually IMSA. Over the years, there's been a number of name changes for this series, starting with the Coney Sportscar Challenge to the Continental Sportscar Challenge, before becoming the Michelin Pilot Challenge that we know today in 2019. Over that period of time, the classes and the cars have changed a tremendous amount as well. The only original class that remains in the series is the GS class, but even that class has seen many big changes. Most recently in 2017, GT4 spec cars were introduced to run in the GS class, and are still the spec of car eligible to run there today. A class for TCR spec cars was added in 2018 to replace the outgoing Street Tuner class. And that leaves us with the two-car structure that we have in the series today. Now, most of the time, the faster of the two classes is the GS class. The GS stands for Grand Sport Class and consists of GT4 spec machinery, which is the same that is run in another one of IMSA's support series, the VP Sportscar Challenge. GT4 cars look generally similar to their GT3 counterparts, but usually are heavier, have less downforce, and less power than a GT3, and it's not just any old car that can compete in the class. All cars must be homologated FIA GT4 cars in order to be run in the GS class. Last year, this meant that we saw entries from Aston Martin with their Vantage, BMW with their M4, the Chevy Camaro, the Ford Mustang, a McLaren Artura, the Mercedes AMG, a Porsche 718 Cayman, and the Toyota Supra. Now, the price of these cars can vary pretty greatly based on the manufacturer and the year of the car that you're looking at, but you can see these cars going in the range of $200,000 to $300,000 on the market. Of course, though, the costs don't stop there. There's a tremendous amount of costs associated with running a full series, whether it's consumables like fuel and tires, general maintenance, crew members, the whole shebang. It all adds up pretty quick. Now, Platinum licensed drivers are not eligible to compete in the GS class, but any other license level driver is, and there's even a sub-championship specifically for bronze-rated drivers. The second class that you'll see out on track for a Michelin Pilot Challenge Series race is the TCR Class. TCR stands for Touring Car Racing and consists of 4 or 5-door FIA homologated cars. The front-wheel drive cars feature both traction control and ABS. Editor Stu here, and there are a couple things I wanted to clarify here with the TCR cars. First, a big shout out to race engineer and strategist for the number 76, Brian Herda Autosports Hyundai, Aaron Pfeiffer, for clarifying a few of these points for me. Traction control is not really much of an assist in TCR cars for drivers during the race, and while technically the TCRs do have traction control, it's designed to help more with the standing starts like you see in the World Touring Car Championship, which don't exist in this class, and therefore it's not really much of a benefit. The cars do also have a handful of ABS settings, and the engine map is set by BOP, which is different than a GT3 car, which can be changed by a driver on the steering wheel during the race. Back to the video. And due to the light nature of the cars, are usually quicker than the GS cars through the corners. Now, we don't see quite the same number of manufacturers that are competing in the TCR class, but there was still a handful competing last year. Alfa Romeo competed with their Giulietta Veloce. Audi competed with both an older and an updated version of their RS3. There were a couple of variations of Honda Civics out on track, including the brand new FL5. And of course, there is the Hyundai Elantra N. Like the GS class, Platinum drivers are not permitted to race in TCR. The unique aspect of the Michelin Pilot Challenge is that these aren't sprint races like are being run in all of the other IMSA support series. All of the rounds of the championship are at least 2 hours in length, and there are even a couple of 4-hour rounds thrown in on the schedule. With the races being so long, it requires a pit stop for fuel, tire change, as well as a mandatory driver change. And with the longer races, a typical race weekend only sees one Michelin Pilot Challenge race over the course of the weekend. There's still 3 days of on-track running though, with the first day of running usually consisting of an afternoon practice session. You'll see a second practice on day 2, usually followed by a qualifying session. And then of course the final day of the race weekend consists of the race. Championship points for the series are handed out as follows: 350 points for first, 320 points for second, 300 points for third, 280 points for fourth, and rounding out the top 5 you get 260 points. Every position decreases by 10 points after that, and no bonus points are handed out. In 2024, the Michelin Pilot Challenge will see 10 race weekends, and it all kicks off with a 4-hour round at Daytona leading up to the Rolex 24, January 25th to 28th. Next up, they head to Sebring, March 13th to 16th, followed by a trip to Laguna Seca, May 10th to 12th. Then they head to Mid-Ohio for another 4-hour round where they will be the featured race of the weekend on June 7th to 9th. After that, it's off to Watkins Glen, June 20th to 23rd. Then they head north of the border, July 12th and 14th, for a round at CTMP. After that, they head to Road America, August 2nd to 4th, VIR, August 23rd to 25th, Indy from September 20th to 22nd, and Road Atlanta rounds out their season October 9th to 12th. All of these rounds, except for the round at Mid-Ohio, where they are the feature race of the weekend, they will be supporting the IMSA Weathertech Sportscar Championship. All of these rounds can be watched live on IMSA TV or Peacock, and a couple of weeks after the race takes place, IMSA will upload the entire race on their YouTube channel. The Michelin Pilot Challenge has been a staple support series for IMSA for many years and looks to be for many years to come. But there's another multi-class support series that throws prototypes into the mix, and that's the VP Sportscar Challenge. You can learn all about that series right here. Huge shout out to all the Patreon supporters. If you too want to support the show, you can head to patreon.com/offintheesses. Once again, thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone has a great race weekend and doesn't go off in the S's.